ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਕਹਾਂ ਬੁੱਧ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਤੁਛ ਹਮਾਰੀ ਵਰਨ ਨਾ ਸਕਹਿ नाम के मुक्त कलयुग के जहाज राजान राज पानान पान देवान देव उपमा महान कबीर साथ समुदय मस करो कलम करो बन राय बसदा कागज जो करो हर जस लिखन न जाए वाह वाह बाणी निरंकार है तिस जीवड़ अवर न कोई धन धन साहिब सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज बाणी गुरु गुरु है बाणी विच बाणी उपत सारे गुरबाणी कहे सेवक जन मानै प्रतख गुरु निस्तारे ऐसे मेरे सतगुरु जी पातशाह जी महाराज पावन शब्द का अवतार धन धन साहिब श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी पातशाह महाराज जी पावन गोद अंदर जुड़ बैठी गुरु की साध संगत जी आओ धन धन साहिब कमाल साहिब 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 गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी पातशाह महाराज जी का पावन फतेह का नारा बख्शा होया अपने खालसे को सतगुरु जी ने नवाजिया नवाजना किया पावन नारा बख्श के आओ उस पावन फतेह नाल सांझ पाईए ते गज के आखिए जी वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा सतगुरु जी की कृपा मेहर सदका आप साध संगत जी के दर्शन हो रहे ने बड़ी भागा वाली है साध संगत के जिथे सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज जी कल्याणकारी दर्शनां दा लाहा लै रहे ने नाल दे नाल गुण गावत मन हरिया होए प्रभु के गुण जिहड़े गाए जा रहे सन कीर्तन द्वारा कीर्ति की जा रही सी सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने बेअंत कृपा की है अपने गुरसिखां ते जिन्हां बड़ा ही सुरीला गला बख्शिया ते बड़े प्रेम के नाल आपनियां नूं सतगुरु जी की इलाही बाणी के नाल कीर्तन के साधन राही जुड़ रहे सन ते कीर्तन सरल करके कीर्तन गा के कीर्तन च हाजरी भर के सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज कहते भी गुण गावत मन हरिया हो जिहड़ा मन है वो जी हरिया भरा करना है क्योंकि इस मन के अंदर वो सदीवी रूप प्यार जिहड़ा है जिहदे रुत ऐसी है बई इहदे अंदर कोई अच्छाई कोई चंगियाई जिहड़ी है वो पैदा भावें करने की इच्छा रखती होवे मगर ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ जो इस जहन के अंदर इस मन के अंदर इस दिमाग अंदर जो मौसम चल रहा वो इस ठंड का है कि उथे कोई अच्छाई रूप बूटा पैदा होना उन्होंने गांह गुणा के फल लगने ते ऐसी स्थिति जिहड़ी है ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ बहुत औखी बन चुकी है ते मन जिहड़ा इस तरह सुक्का पिया सुक्या है हरिया भरिया नहीं हुंदा जिसनूं गुरबाणी का जिहड़ा पवित्र पावन जल है वो नहीं जा रहा ऐसा मन जिहड़ा है सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज कहते जिन्हों हरिया करना होवे हर का नाम ध्याई क्या हो हरिया भाई प्रभु के नाम नाल जिहड़ा जुड़दा है ते कीर्तन के नाल जिहड़ा जुड़दा है सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज जिन्हों दा मन हरिया हुंदा है ते सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज कृपा करते हैं आपनियां ने हाजिरी भरी है भर रहे हो पावन कीर्तन सरवण किया है। फिर पातशाह महाराज कहते हैं कथा सुनत मल सगली लिखो। तो सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज की घर की मर्यादा, सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज गुरु घर की जो मर्यादा है, कथा ते कीर्तन सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज ने अपनी संगत को बख्शिया। तो गुरु साहिबान ने आप जिथे कीर्तन किया संगतां नूं कृतार्थ किया, ते नाल ही नाल जो कथा सी सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज आप करया करते, ते बड़ियां बख्शिशां साध संगत करते। ते ये जो मर्यादा तोड़ी उस मर्यादा को कायम रखने हुए और साध संगत जी कुछ चिर लई जो श्री हुकमनामा साहिब की विचार होती है, दास जिस दी विचार करने का यत्न करता है वो आप जी दे नाल साझी की जाए। ते जिहड़ी कल साध संगत जी ने हाजरी भरी है, उन्होंने जो कल का श्री हुकमनामा साहब पढ़िया होएगा, तो अज भी जो हुकमनामा साहब आया सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज का वो ही है जो कल आया सीगा। तो वो विचार हुई, तो कल जी साध संगत जी उस वक्त कथा के समय इत्थे मौजूद सन, तो उन्होंने सरवण किया कि कल जिथे उस सारी हुक्मनामे की विचार जी पंजाबी में की गई, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर साध संगत जी सरोते सन जो वो पंजाबी समझण वाले बोलने वाले सन। तो अज मैं साध संगत जी के दर्शन कर रहा, तो अज साध संगत कई नौजवान के बच्चे भी मौजूद ने आए ने। तो जिस तरह कल वचन किया, क्योंकि सतगुरू जी पातशाह जी महाराज के चरणों के कई बार जो वचन करके इन्हों के साढ़े को कितने भुल हो के वचन पूरा ना हो, तो फिर सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज की करते हैं, बख्शिश करते हैं, भी मौका फिर देते हैं। तो जोड़ा असी वचन किया होंगे कई बार पूरा करना ना, सतगुरू जी 2 बारी मौका देते, दूजा मौका दे देते। मैं बेनती क्यों कर रहा है, मैं इस करके कर रहा क्योंकि कल जो कथा आरंभ हुई सी, जो विचार आरंभ हुई सी, तो उस वेले मैं वचन आख्या सीगा कि क्योंकि दास गुरु प्यारे ने हुक्म ला करके आप जी के इतने सानू बहन का जोड़ा समा प्राप्त करवाया, वो पिछे मनोरथ सीगा कि जोड़े साढ़े इतने नौजवान बच्चे ने उन्होंने सतगुरू जी के नाल जोड़न का यत्न, तो इंग्लिश के अंग्रेजी भाषा के जिस तरह उत्थे दासा कोलों वाहिगुरू जी सेवा लेंदे ने, तो इत्थे भी अंग्रेजी के जो विचार रखनी सी बच्चों सामने। तो मैं कल वचन आख्या सीगा भी मैं कोशिश कराँगा भी ज़्यादातर पंजाबी सुनने वाले समझने वाले इतने बैठे हैं, तो मैं कोशिश कराँगा भी नाल दे नाल ही भी मगर वचन मेरे को कल पूरा ना हो सकिया, तो केवल पंजाबी के सारी विचार जी सी चली सी। तो अज सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज ने मौका दिता दोबारा फिर, तो विचार चल रही सी कि सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज जिथे कल विचार हुई ने पंजाबी के अज वही विचार क्योंकि हुक्मनामा साहब जो कल आया सी वही अज है, वही विचार जी बच्चे जोड़े आए हैं, जोड़े नौजवान आए हैं, जिन्हों की खास दास कितने आने का हुक्म लाया गया सीगा, उन्होंने अपनी सांझ पा सकिए। जो पावन हुक्मनामे की जो व्याख्या है वो इंग्लिश के करिए। तो सतगुरू जी पातशाह महाराज कृपा कर बख्शिश कर दास जोड़ा है आप जी को माफ़ी पहला ही मंग लेता है, जे आप जी दे लई मैं कोई सेवा ऐसी ना रख सका जो आप जी लाभ ना उठा सकूँ, मैं पहले ही माफ़ी मंग लेता, क्योंकि बच्चों की जो खास प्रोग्राम देखा गया सीगा उन्होंने कुछ फायदे नहीं जोड़े विचार जो इंग्लिश किए जाएंगे। आओ पातशाह महाराज कृपा करो तो जो कल हुक्मनामा साहब अज भी आया वही हुक्मनामा साहब की जी व्याख्या वो इंग्लिश के बच्चों के नाम साझी करिए। सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरू साहिब जी, तनासरी महला पंजवा, तुम दाते ठाकुर प्रतिपालक, नायक खसम हमारे, निमक निमक तुम ही प्रतिपालो, हम बारक तुमरे धारे। So today's Hukmanama, the order for the day that came this Amrit Vela this morning, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Pasha Maharaj when Guru Pasha Ji Maharaj sat on his throne this morning, and the edict, the order that he issued this morning was the same as the one that came yesterday morning as well. So something that has been repeated twice in a row, and perhaps it's an opportunity to ponder and think about the importance of the Hukamnama. Sometimes when people repeat themselves, say something twice, that means they're trying to get a message across to yourself. That means that something that they're talking about holds a deep meaning or special meaning sometimes, and they really want this message to get through to the audience or the person listening, or the person that they're talking to. So Guru Sahiban has issued the same order as we had yesterday. And quite often what we do is, as we come in, we will read the Hukamnama Sahib as it's displayed outside on the screen, and perhaps then we just move on. And never sometimes stop and try and think about the meaning itself, that perhaps this was the order of the day. So when Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj came this morning, and when Guru Sahib sat on his throne this morning, and the words he uttered this morning was these. And what do they mean for me today? What would they mean for me in today's, say, whatever I'm going to be doing today, carrying on with my life, whether you're going to school, whether you're going to work, or whether you're just in Seva, or whether you're just going home, and you have all these other commitments people have. So sometimes we try and seek advice from people. And it's not seeking advice from people if then you're not going to take that on board and then perhaps apply whatever you've been sort of told, or some instructions. So the whole idea is that when we talk to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is the only Guru who is Pragat Guran Ki Deh. Now, very few people may have that opportunity within their own faiths where they can actually talk to their Guru, or they can talk to their Prophet, or someone that they look up to for guidance, perhaps because the reason is that those people existed perhaps a few hundred years ago. And it is impossible for them to be able to have a dialogue with them and speak to them and seek advice through any means, whereas we've been lucky enough that Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj gives us that opportunity every single day, and is available for us every single day that we want to go to Guru Sahib and speak to Guru Sahib. And I think we should then try and make the most of it. Because it's not something that a lot of people can claim, but we can. That Guru Sahib is always there, and he talks to us. And the way he talks to us is he talks to us through the Gurdwara, and the way he talks to us and guides us is through Hukamnama, for Hukum. When many Gursikhs want to do something and they're a bit stuck, or maybe perhaps they just want a blessing. Anything that you do not ask Guru Sahib first. That you ask Guru Sahib for help. You ask the Guru Sahib for blessings. We come to Guru Sahib with all sorts of things that are going on in our heads, that are going on in our minds, and we try and speak to Guru Sahib. So the idea is that we all of us realize and recognize that there's a need for me to be able to connect with something that is above me, higher than everything that surrounds me, and something that we hold dearly in our life. And when we come to Guru Sahib's congregation, and when we sit down and we do Simran, and we do Ardas, then Guru Sahib will speak to us. And Guru Sahib will tell us things. And if we then do Ardas, Guru Sahib, the Hukamnama that we will get, will be relevant to your situation that you're going through. I have experienced this in my life, always, and many Gursikhs that I know have experienced this many times. Sometimes, when we try and explain the meaning of Hukamnama, when there's somebody who's come to the Guru Garb, perhaps they're not from our faith, probably from another faith, and we try and speak to them, and we try and explain that what is Hukmnama. We say that, sort of what will happen is that the Granthi Sahib will take a random reading from Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj after we pray, after we do Ardas, and the person sitting on Tabbya, sitting behind the Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj will then take a shabad from just at random and will read that shabad out, and then that's for us to order, and that's what we're trying to follow. It's all correct, apart from one small little detail, and that detail is it's never random. Anything that happens is not random. Hukume andar sabdo. Guru Sahib's Bani tells us that Hukume andar sabdo. Is there anything that happens random without his will? Hukume andar sabdo. Sara kuch ode hukum de andar. Everything that happens is not random. Everything that happens is his will. So the hukumnama that comes is never random. The hukumnama that comes is always specific to someone's sort of thoughts or someone's needs. And sometimes you may think, perhaps, hang on, how can that be true? How can that be possible? There's people who come to the Guru Garb, people who do ardas, and they have ardas. Everybody has a different ardas to the person next to them. So how is that relevant? Now, it's down to us that how sincere we are, and how sometimes we get too much involved with the ardas that we do, too much kind of like focused on the want that we have, and then sometimes we fail to focus on Sadhguruji's reply, because we are expecting a certain response, and when that certain response that we are assuming we're going to get, it's not there, then we assume that, hang on, perhaps my ardas has not been listened. No, that is not the case. Guru Sahib will be relevant and specific to everyone sitting there, and it's for us to then contemplate on the hukumnama that has come and try and decide, and try with guidance of the Gursikhs to find out what that means to me. Sometimes it'll be so specific that even if you don't understand Gurbani, you will still understand, what the response or reply was when you asked Guru Maharaj for something. So, hukume andar sabko bahar hukam na hoye. It's not random. Everything is under Vaheguru's hukum, and this is his hukum. So when you have a hukumnama, that was the hukum of Sadhguru Maharaj. And yesterday's hukumnama was the same yesterday morning as well. And then when we had Bajar yesterday, the Bajar was done, and it was mainly focused around the Sadhguru Maharaj, what he's trying to teach us. Every single shabad that is in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj teaches us fantastic things, and teaches us ways to life, ways to sort of behave, ways to be able to even do ardas. Now, ardas, if you believe, is a very sort of like a delicate piece of skill that sort of we need. Most of us do ardas every single day, maybe twice a day, maybe more than that. But ardas is something that needs to be done in such a way that it has its own it has its own path. All of if you want to imagine, and its own rules and its own regulations, and we should try and focus on what that is. And maybe the random thing shouldn't be the ardas that we do, and ardas should be that much focus. Sometimes we have very much words that we sometimes repeat over and over again, but they kind of like sometimes we need to go back and think, maybe focus a little bit more. So Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj yesterday gave us the hukumnama, and the hukumnama starts off with Tanasri Mahalla Panjima. It's written in Rag Tanasri, and Mahalla Panjima is Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, and I have done this benti before as well. I'll do it again because sometimes people are new and sometimes they don't know that. How do we know? It's Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pashamara ki Hukamnama is, so when we read at the heading of a Hukamnama, it will say Tanasri, it will say the name of the Rag is written, and it will say Mahalla, it will say either Mahalla Panjima or Mahalla Pehla. So depending on the number that goes after the Mahalla, then that's the Guru Sahib that has issued that order. So today is Mahalla Panjma. Mahalla Panjma means Panjve Parchar, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pasha Maharaj has issued this Hukamnama for the day. And Guru Sahib Pasha Maharaj teaches us the way to do Ardas. How should we be doing Ardas? What should be the focus of our mind? What sort of frame of mind we should be in when we do Ardas? Because it's a skill. Doing Ardas is a skill. And it's a skill, if you master it, you know how to do Ardas, then you will go far in this life. Because that's all we have. That's all we have. We only have Ardas, yeah, to be able to connect to Vaheguru. That's like the initial contact, if you will. Because when you were born, when you were a child, what did your parents do? They brought you here. They brought you to the Gurdwara. And you know what they did? They did Ardas. That was your first Ardas. That was your first Ardas. And you know what will happen? You will go through your life, you will come to Gurukar many times, and you will come to Gurukar with your own Ardases. Until the day will come when it's time to leave this place, when it's time to leave this earth, when it's time to leave this world. What will they do then? They will bring you, or they will bring you to your house, and you know what they will do when they're going to take you? They will do the final Ardas. So your life started with an Ardas, and then your life continued with Ardases all along, and then at the end as well there was a final Ardas. So Ardas is very important in life. So Guru Sahib teaches the ways to be able to do that Ardas. And the way to do that is, first and foremost, is to have, whenever you go for a job or wherever you go for a task, you prepare yourself. If someone's coming to your house, what do? Then you clean your house, right? And I know if somebody's coming to my house, and I know that they're going to come to my room, and then my room looks like an absolute tip. Everything's everywhere. All my clothes are on the floor, all my clothes are on the bed. You can probably identify with that. And when I know if someone's coming to my house, the first thing I'll do, I'll go upstairs, and I'll be in a rush, puff and puff, and I'll be like, okay, I need to make sure my room's clean. I'll probably, out of 365 days in a year, I probably won't clean my room for most part of it, but once or twice when people are coming, I'll make sure that my room's clean. So my room's prepared, so that the people, when they come, they will look at my room and they'll have an idea. They'll be like, okay, this person's clean enough. I don't want them going away thinking, oh, this person, look at the way he lives. But preparation is key. So everything is all about preparation, and the preparation of the mind is exactly the same. Now, the example that I've given is for things that we do, worldly things that we do. We prepare ourselves. We make sure that we look decent enough. And some people not very often have a shower, go have a shower that day, because they will think, someone's coming around to my house, I don't want to smell. So, there's all those sorts of things that we kind of try and connect and, prepare ourselves, maybe prepare the house for something. And then do Ardas, that's a major task. That's something that, those moments that you have, they are so important that that's your quality time, that's your bit of time with Sadhguru Pasha Maharaj, with Guru Granth Sahib Pasha Maharaj, when you can have a direct dialogue, when you have a direct talk with Guru Granth Sahib Pasha Maharaj. So that time, you should be thinking, okay, I better prepare myself before I go and do that Ardas, because it's really important. How does the preparation begin? The preparation begins from within. When you do an Ardas, the most important thing that will be in your life will be the fact that you become humble. Becoming humble, becoming ego-less or ego-free is the key. Because your mind is full of ego. Your mind is full of ahankar. The whole existence that you think that you live, it gives you a certain way of looking at your own life, and sometimes you look at your life with pride and you think, look at me, I can do this, I can do that. But Satguru Pashamala teaches us to be humble, teaches us to be normal, in the sense that it's not wrong to be able to have pride within yourself. It's not wrong to be able to think that you are doing well in society, and then you should be doing well in society. But it's very important not to lose focus and think about who's given you all those abilities. Never forget the person who's given you all that. Sometimes we forget the person who's the source of everything, but then we are too much focused on what we have. So the idea is that you become humble first before you're going to do ardas. When you do ardas, you see granthis. You see granthi sahib will hold a hajuriya around their neck, and then they will do an ardas. What does that mean? That means that you have come with absolutely nothing. You have come as somebody, as a beggar who has absolutely nothing. He has no wisdom, he has no virtues, and he's just seeking complete guidance from Guru Sahib. Now this is the way you are to remain, and this is the way you are to do ardas in front of Guru Sahib. And the first and foremost thing is, before you come in, you have to leave your ego behind. You have to leave your ego outside and become humble. How do you become humble? The best way to become humble is to sing praises of Bhai. So you know when you're praising someone else, then you forget about your own self. You know, when you're really focused on someone, then you forget about yourself. And this is the whole idea. And this is the key thing. That if you want to become humble, the best technique to use is to sing praises of Vaheguru. And when you sing praises of Vaheguru, for that moment, what will happen is that you will forget about your own self. The focus that you have just about you all the time is then shifted towards somebody who's greater than you. Someone who's higher than you, someone who's above you, and someone who has been there from Aad Sach, Jugad Sach, Happy Sach, Nanak Sipi Sach, somebody who has been there all that time, long before you even acknowledge your existence, somebody who has been there providing for you all that time. Why shouldn't I sing the praises of such a person who has always been there and always looked after me? Why do I get so self-involved in my own life that I forget about the greater power that has given me all these fantastic things, and I'm unable to do good things in my life and live my life in a way that I'm a benefit not only to me, my family, but perhaps other people as well. All those skills that you have acquired have come from one and one person only, and that person sitting right there. To become humble is an easy technique to use. All you have to do is you have to praise Vaheguru. The more you praise Vaheguru, the less you will become, the less self-aware you will become, less self-involved you will become, because you recognize that I'm nothing, I'm nobody, I have absolutely no power, I'm no one, because the source of everything is sitting right there. So to do ardas is to get rid of that ego, and the way you get rid of that ego is by singing Vaheguru's praises. So this is exactly what Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pasha Maharaj has done in the show. It starts off with a praise. Dodati, Thakur Pratapalak, Nayak Khasam, that you are the data, you are the giver. You are the giver of all the good things in my life. You are the giver of all the necessities that I have in my life and a lot more. Tumadati, Thakur Pratapalak, and you the one who has been doing my Pratapalak, and you are the one who has been looking after me, has brought me up. There is none other than you, Vaheguru, to recognize. So you're trying to get less self-involved with yourself and trying to focus on the reality. What is the reality? And reality is Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And reality is that everything that we have, we claim that it's mine or I've earned it, has come from the blessing of Guru Sahib. And to recognize that this is what Satguru Pasha Maharaj is saying, that all these things that I have in my life are not just there. Okay, fair enough, we work hard, fair enough, you don't have to work and you work for these things. But there are people who all their life, they do so much hard work, but in the end they get so little. You only have to go to India. When you go to India, you see people who are labourers. They work for 5 pence a day or 10 pence a day. Some of these people are so poor, and you look at the work that they do, they work so hard. But in the end, they don't get much reward for it. If Satguru Pasha Maharaj is going to give you the reward for hard work, now that's their karma, that's their deeds. But for us, we don't work as hard as those people. We don't have to go and work when it's 40 degrees out there. We don't have to go out and work without any safety equipment. But people that out there that do those things. But it's for us, we don't have to do any of that. But Satguru Pasha Maharaj still has given us an amazing life, has given us everything that we need to sustain us, and a lot more, and a lot more. You know what? People like we do, there's people in the world who don't have enough today to eat in a day, and what we have is we have so much that we have to throw things. See the difference? And you have to recognize that who's provided me with all this? Is it me? Or is it someone else? And the answer is always Tumadati. He is my Lord, He is my Bhai, who has given me all this. And to recognize that there is no other than Vaheguru, and you are His bark, then we are His children, that you are His child. And just like a father will always provide, will do the best for his child, and if we recognize Guru Sahib as our father and treat Guru Sahib as such, then Guru Sahib will then treat us as his bark, as his child. He will look after us. So Satguru Pasha Maharaj and never, when you blink, but the time that it takes for you to blink, that's a very small time. And Satguru Pasha Maharaj said, even for that moment, even for that small amount of time, Satguru Pasha Maharaj, you don't forget me. We forget Satguru Pasha Maharaj when we are living our lives and everything's going great, everything's going fantastic. It doesn't take us long to just forget. But only when something happens in our life, then we remember, perhaps, maybe I should do a laugh, maybe I should ask Guru Sahib for help. But we may forget Vaheguru, but Vaheguru doesn't forget to look after us even for that small fragment of time. Even for that small fragment of time, Satguru He never forgets us. He cherishes. Satguru Pasha Maharaj will do our Pratapalan ever and forever, Satguru Pasha. So how can I forget such a Vaheguru? Satguru Pasha Maharaj never can tum hi Pratapalo, hum barak tumare tahe, jiva ek kavan gur kahi. How is it possible for me to sing your praise? You have so many virtues. So many virtues, where shall I start, where shall I end? There is no end. I don't have enough time. This one tongue that I have is not enough. It's not enough, but you have so many virtues that I can sing praises of, that I only have one tongue to do it with. That's how Satguru Pasha Maharaj, that's how beautiful your virtues are, and how many they are, that I will find it impossible to sing your praises. How can I sing your praises? I only have one tongue to do it with. There is no end, there is no limit. There is no limit to your blessings, Satguru Pasha Maharaj. That you have Besamar Bayant. So many different types, so many different varieties that you come into my life and bless me, that how can I even begin the praise? I don't even know how to praise Satguru Maharaj. I have, in my journey, this journey that this soul has been on, and we don't know how many lifetimes we've been coming to this world, and we've been going back and we're coming back and forth, we don't know. And we have collected, and we do so many sins in our lives every single day, and those things that we know of, and then there's those things that we don't even think about, that we don't even know of, but we keep doing those. Satguru Pasha Maharaj कहते कोट अपराध हमारे खंडो अनबुद्धि समझा that I am such a fool that I find it impossible to learn even from my mistakes. You know, we keep making mistakes and we keep making them again and again, even though we know that what we're doing is wrong, but we still do it. Knowingly we still do it. You know what happens when people keep making mistakes? That means they haven't learned their lesson. They haven't learned their lesson. And when people learn their lesson and then they are able and they have the wisdom to know better next time. But we are so self-involved that, you know, so we are so driven by the vices, the calm, the Lord, God. We are so driven by them that we don't stop. When we start making mistakes, we may be remorseful for a short period of time, and then after, you know, certain time has passed, we make those mistakes again, and we keep doing that. And we will keep doing that until or unless you make me understand. Please, please, use all the means to make me understand. You know, when you go to school, and then sometimes you don't understand something, your teacher will then use other analogies, maybe perhaps to try and make you understand. Will spend more time on you, you need more help. And those teachers will spend more time with you, and if they won't, what will happen? You will get lagged behind. Similarly, if we don't progress within our spirituality, with our spiritual life, then we are always and always going to be at a disadvantage, and we're never going to learn. We're going to keep making those mistakes again. And who do you turn to and ask for help? You turn to Guru Sahib and you ask for help and say, "Anakabadi samjha." I'm never going to learn. I'm never going to learn. But there's nothing impossible for you. It may be impossible for me to learn, but it's not impossible for you to teach me. Please, please, use all the techniques. Just don't forget me. Just don't forget me. Well, I might be a time waster. But please, change me. I'm not going to be able to change myself. So do ardas. This is how you do ardas. Anubadi samjhao, hum agyan ala mat thodi. Tum apna bird rakhao. And I am agyan satguru. We do the opposite. We say there is none who is more wiser than I am. There is none other who knows more than I do. Now, this is not how you have bakshish blessings of Guru Sahib. You have to come to Guru Sahib with empty hands. If you want to take away Guru Sahib's blessings, then you have to come to Guru Sahib with empty hands, and Guru Sahib will then bless you with those virtues and with those blessings. But you have to be humble. You have to have nimarta in your life. And the way you get nimarta is, you say Satguru Pasha, Ham Agyan, Alap Mat Thodi. I don't have mat. I don't have any wisdom, Satguru Pasha Maharaj. Hum agyan alap mat thodi tum apan bird rakhao. But your bird is, your innate nature is to look after such fools like me. It is your innate nature to do that. This is who you are. Please, please help me. This is how you do ardas in front of Guru Sahib Pasha Maharaj. If you have nimarta. If you don't have nimarta, you have hankar, and if you have hankar, you have nothing. And if you have nimarta, if you have humbleness, you have everything. This is the difference. And those two cannot be there present at the same time. You have either one or the other. Either one or the other. And more often than not, people like me, and always have that hankar inside of me. Until I get rid of it, by singing his praises. By singing his praises. Hum agyan alap thodi tum apan bird rakhao. So Sadhguru is your innate nature to help people like me. Tumhari saran, tumhari asa, tum hi sajjan sabhile. That I have come to your sanctuary, God. And I have no other hope other than you. Tumhari saran, tumhari asa, tum hi sajjan sabhile. And there is no true friend like you, Sadhguru Pasha, who can help me. Tumhari saran, tumhari asa, tum hi sajjan sabhile. Rakho rakhanhar dayala, Nanak. And please save me, please keep me, like a slave. And you know, when somebody, and these days, because Satguru Pasha Maharaj is giving the analogy to try and explain to us that for us to become slaves to Vaheguru and become slaves to his people, this is why we do Seva of Satsang, is that we are slaves of Satsang. Thus we become slaves of Guru Sahib because we do Guru Sahib's bidding. And only when you do Guru Sahib's bidding and you do Seva of Sadguruji and you do Seva of his Sangat, Sadguruji Pasha Maharaj will and then will help you and will bless you with all the virtues that are needed, very much needed in our lives to make us better people, to make us better Gursikhs, and to complete the reason for our existence. And if we don't, then we're going to be coming here like we've been coming here for such a long time, and it's going to happen again, and we're going to keep doing it until we break out that cycle, until we break out of that circle, and that's the only time it's going to happen for us. So Satguru Pasha Maharaj blessed us with that Hukamnama. So what we take away from today's Hukamnama is that Satguru Pasha to become humble, to become Nimartavali, and do ardas in front of Guru Sahib Chandra and sing his praises. Satguru Pasha Maharaj has given this fantastic opportunity for me to be able to sit here and share a few words. And I, by no means, am a Katha. By no means I have, sort of any knowledge that I could claim and say that, so I'm able to translate the Hukamnama. It is impossible for somebody like me to be able to do that. But Sadhguru gave me this opportunity to sit here and share a few words with this house, and that's the only thing that I have done. And this is, I think, today's Diwan is the last Diwan that I have at this Gurudwara. And I'd just like to say thank you to the Sangha here, and I would like to say thanks to all the Prabandhak committee and all the Ragi Singhs that have been here and have given me so much love and have been so kind to me and given me this fantastic opportunity to be able to do and share a few words. So, but all this time that I've been here, if I have made mistakes and I've said things that I shouldn't have said, then please forgive me and do ardas for me that Satguru Pasha Maharaj gives me makes me worthy of sitting here and having an audience with Guru Sahib and Guru Sahib's. So, Satguru Pasha Maharaj कृपा करें. मैं समाप्ति करने तो पहला सतगुरु जी गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी पातशाह महाराज का कोटान कोट धन्यवाद शुकराना शुक्रिया सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज के सतगुरु जी ने समा बख्शिया आप जी के जोड़े झाड़न का आप जी के सामने बैठ करके कुछ विचार जो असीं करन दा मेरी वैसे कोई हैसियत नहीं या मैं कोई इन्ना इतिहासकार या मैं कोई कथावाचक ऐसी गल कोई नहीं केवल ये सतगुरु जी का तरस है जो महाराज ने आप जी के इत्थे सामने बिठा करके कुछ लफ्ज़ कहने का मैंने मौका बख्शिया तो मेरे जिन्ने भी दिन इसे आप जी के नाल बचन साझे किए हैं जे मैं कोई बोल ऐसा बोलिया हो जो आप जी को ना पाया हो ना चंगा लग्या तो आप जी ने क्षमा करनी तो मेरे लिए अरदास करनी कि सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज जी भी किसी साथ संग बह के बोलने का चज आ जाए कोई जाच आ जाए तो नाल दे नाल ही मैं संगत जी का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना तो इतने के मेरे जो प्रबंधक वीर ने उन्होंने भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद ते नाल ही जिहड़े इत्थे गुरु घर सेवा करते हैं गुरु घर के वजीर इत्थे ग्रंथी साहब जिहड़े ने जिहड़े कीर्तनी जथे इत्थे ने मैं उन्होंने भी बड़ा उन्होंने मान सत्कार दिता बहुत बहुत ही धन्यवाद सारिਆਂ ਦਾ ते होईयां भुलां दी माफ़ी बख्शो आओ गुरप्रीत सिंह जी शिमले वाले आप जी के इस पावन दरबार अंदर पहुँच गए हैं तो उन्होंने आप जी सतगुरां की बहुत कृपा है कि सारी दुनिया जी अपनी सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने बहुत बख्शिश की है बहुत ही सुर बख्शिया गले च बड़ा ही प्रेम के नाल कीर्तन करते हैं तो साध संगत जी जोड़ते हैं वो आप जी के इत्थे गुरु घर से साध संगत के चरणों च हाजिर हो गए हैं आप जी कीर्तना में हाल करनगे होईयां भुलां दी माफ़ी बख्शी जी सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने कभी मौका बख्शे जरूर आप जी दर्शन करांगे आओ जी सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज जी बख्शी फतेह बुलाओ तो गज के वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा